Cool. Nice. So, man, we have quite the crew.
Yeah.
And we got George here today. This is great. Okay, well, let's start with what did we do this week? And we, so intentions, distractions, and what did you do this week? So I will model intentions. I am really excited to try to push the multi-sig thing through and see if we can actually just have answers and get Wojtek off the multi-sig and take actions next week on it. And then distractions. I don't think I have too many distractions other than I have a second screen, so sometimes I'm going to look over here instead of there. And then what did I do this week? So there were lots of calls and the general, same old stuff, pushing the token engineering commons forward, coming together on the Odyssey stuff. I'm going to look at my calendar. There was, I just had a meeting with P2P, what was it, P2P modules?
Foundation, right?
No, not foundations, P2P something. And they got grant money from European Union and they want to work with us on maybe doing another grant thing. We had like unicorn check-ins. We had, P2P models is it? We just flew to Barcelona, and so we've been building up the situation here, going to IKEA and secondhand stores and getting stuff. But yeah, same old, lots of stuff and lots of traveling. Flying to Istanbul tomorrow and connecting with Ident3 guys and just doing the networking thing. So many things, happening. So, but I'm ready to pass it off. I'll push it to Kai.
Too many windows. Sorry, that took some time. It's always crazy. Like, when do these weeks begin? I think at the last week's meeting. So there was the whole of ETH Paris in the meantime. So we hacked all weekend on something we called Gitviction, which is prioritization of GitHub issues. Actually, it's Michael here. I will tell him. Damn it, he's not here. So I will tell him in a different session. Traveled back to Vienna, handled a bit of an aftermath of this and some cat herding. So we forked out what was usable and tried to engage the team that worked on ETH Paris or in Paris on this a bit more. I also traveled to Bratislava, which might not be immediately useful, but you will see that there's some crazy cool people there. And I don't know, I become... many people are contacting me, it seemed to be some sort of crossroads for these, how do we call them, hacker pads, or hacker clubs or hacker spaces, which is kind of interesting. So I also had a call with the RIA today, and there's something for Camp Decentral, I have to tell them. Lots of meetings. They're getting more and more at the Common Stack meetings, and Odyssey are there. It's crazy. But I went to all of them, including the comms meeting, my own unicorn meeting, which was very nice. Thank you guys for taking the time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And some small admin as usual. I give it to Lorelei.
Okay. Yeah. This week, we were in Paris at the last community meeting. And after that, I went to DGov and kind of connected, represented a little there. I've been a part of the token engineering commons team organization and meetings. We came to Barcelona and started setting up this house. I've been doing a lot of that work. And let's see. Oh yeah, we had these unicorn check-in meetings with Kai and with Lansky. I have been kind of re-engineering the roles process for this month a little bit, delegating for the unicorn DAC, helping out organize with the Odyssey teams. And what else? Oh yeah, I hung out with this P2P meeting that we just had this morning. Yeah, that's all I need to say for now. And I will, intentions and distractions. I feel like I've been in meetings a lot of hours today, so I'm a little distracted by that. But I intend to just get some solidity on the Lumio that I posted this week and have a clear roles process going forward for next week. And to win all these multi-sig popularity contests, not all of them, but I will pass it to Josh. Oh, you're muted.
I was just talking to myself on that one. Yeah, I'm a little bit distracted because I'm just kind of lining up the notes now, but otherwise good. My intents are to take the notes, and my distractions are taking the notes. I'd also like to know more about this P2P Foundation. Is it the P2P Foundation? Because that's really big. If it's
we know the P2P Foundation.
We do?
Yeah.
However, this is really big for you, Josh. They're the Eleanor Ostrom nerds I was telling you about at Aracon. So.
Okay. Yes, amazing. Cool. Well, I look forward to hearing it, and I'm very distracted by all this interesting news about token engineering. I can pass it off to. I'm going to pass it off to Michael because I know he's in here, and he doesn't have a name.
I'm just listening for the first time. Josh invited me in. This is Michael Shea. I think I've met some of you at Aracon and Web3 Summit way back last year. A lot of things distracting, a lot of things moving forward, and I'm just going to listen and see how I can help or potentially contribute to the community and going forward. And I guess I'm supposed to pass the ball to somebody.
Yeah.
Danny?
Sure. Gosh, it's been a really busy and exciting and interesting week. So I'll start with the things I've been working on here, which here is in Atlanta. And part of what I've been doing is looking to see what's going on in Atlanta for blockchain. How do I start connecting with people? Got my curtains hung, got my words, feeling pretty good and settled in. Most of my effort has been focused on getting the Reward DAO campaign transitioned, the new process understood and documented, and learning how to get into GitHub and update the wiki, the contributors guide, and all that stuff. But a ton of other time spent with individuals, with our contributors. So Reward DAO is my poke and my reason to get connected with them, but also to dive into GitHub a lot more. So I have some issues on the DApp because I've been creating a lot of milestones. We have a new campaign that's been onboarded. Castro Limon is up. We got to go through that process. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I finally am dipping my toes into the CRM system a little bit. Kai poked me on that and asked if we think this is really the best system to go with. I looked around a little bit and I'm like, we have it. I think we can work with it. So I'm working with it. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Next week, I'm going to Detroit for the Radical Exchange Conference. I'm really excited about this one. I've kind of been following the movement itself that came from the book by Glenn Weil. Michael was kind enough to contact somebody he knew and get me a ticket. So then the scholarship that I had already applied for, I also got granted that. And I was able to pass it on to a friend of mine, Erica, who's also in Detroit. And I'm excited that she's going to come and represent and learn a little bit with me too. So I've been digging into who the speakers are. Vitalik is speaking at it, and a lot of other really amazing people in all the different places. Zuko is there. So just kind of brushing up on the people, see what can come out of that next week. My distractions are just that I love creating space, and so I keep seeing things I want to change in my little office temple here. And my intentions are to get through all of our Gov issues. So with that, I'll pass it off to Lorelei.
Oh,
You already go?
Yeah, I already went.
Oh, who else is on there? Let's see. Kai went. Griff.
Bowen?
I haven't been there.
Gustavo.
Hello.
Oh, yay. Hi, Gustavo.
Hi, Danny. How you doing?
It's to you. Lovely
Yeah.
to see you again.
Yeah, I've been in the last month here a couple of times. I think that you were in holidays, Danny, so we haven't met here yet. Well, hello all. I've been away a couple of weeks or 3, I think. The last time we meet together, I was offering you my availability because I had some free time to give to you guys, because you know that I really love this project and I want to be as helpful as I can be. True is that in this time, well, I came back from holidays to Madrid, and it was like a bunch of things going on at the same time. And one guy is approaching me to help him. One developer guys, they have some contacts into the entrepreneurship environment here in Madrid, and they have some idea about a DAO. So I've been helping them to make like a main design for it, in order to go for an European grant that we are willing to go there. It will be about applying the commons theory to a bunch of startups working together in a DAO fashion organization, of course, willing to make the best use of common resources or resources that will be useful to all of them. This is what I'm up to, and I also made like an important decision for myself. That is also another thing that will prevent me to give you guys the time that I was willing to offer, which is that I appointed on a development bootcamp. I finally decided to to develop some of these skills. So in the next 2-3 months, I won't be around as I wanted to be with you guys, but I will be in a satellite mode within the galaxy. I'm also talking with the peer-to-peer models guys. I'm very friendly with a couple of them, so I don't know, anything you need, anything you think that I can be helpful with them or whatsoever, remember that I'll be around. And with this, I think that I won't pass it to nobody, because I was the last one, I am assuming.
No, I think Don and Bowen haven't gone yet, right?
Yeah. Before that, one quick question, Lorelei. This is something I introduced more than a couple of months ago in some chat. I don't remember, but I'll be moderating a decentralized organization panel in the Startup Ole event that they are doing in Salamanca, here in Spain, at the end of this month, on the 27th. Okay. Back then, I didn't find any woman to participate in the panel. So far, we are a bunch of males. Jorge Izquierdo is participating. Also, one of the peer-to-peer model guys will be participating. But I think that you met Lorelei, Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was participating, but he asked me, look, Gustavo, I don't want to participate in a bunch of male people to talk about this. I will give my spot to some woman. So I'm looking for a woman that wants to participate in a panel about decentralizers in Sri Lanka.
Well, that's awesome. Let's have that convo since it's
you're having issues
time right now.
Don't give me an answer right now. Have a thought. But just to
I take off because we're breaking format here. So Bowen, push forward, please.
Yeah, finishing. Lorelei, you're invited to that panel. Don't give me an answer right now, but
hey, it's.
I have to leave, guys. Very nice to see you. We'll be in touch.
Oh, you're leaving. Oh, okay. Well,
thanks. I have stuff to do. I wanted just to explain you a couple of things.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll reach out.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye, Gustavo.
Bye.
Bye.
How's it going? Let's see. Well, what I'm currently in the process of is going through a bunch of the programs Chris suggested for creating audio podcasts of to be placed in a to be determined location for the public consumption of Giveth fans. And so I went back and I listened to a couple of the ones that I didn't get a chance to all the way through yesterday. This stuff won't take very much editing, so that's kind of good. Other than that, distracted only by waiting for the bridge payments from this morning to go through. And other than that, I'm looking forward to having a productive meeting, and I will pass it over to Don Adams.
Yeah.
Hey everybody. I've been working on some communications for Giveth that have come out over the last couple of weeks, including one today. And just kind of keeping up with your guys' progress by lurking in the riot. So yeah, stoked to be here. And without holding you guys up further, let's move on and talk about everything there is to discuss today.
Well, is there anyone else who needs to go? Okay, so then let's get this party started. We have a lot of proposals to push through, and most of them are on the multi-sigs. So if you haven't voted yet, please vote, because we're going to actually use those votes to make decisions today. So we have one other proposal on the agenda, which is about the roles meeting. So I'm going to start with that. But if you haven't voted, dear God, you know, pay attention to the roles discussion, but at the same time, like, you know, get in there and pick some names. You can just do it right now. Your last chance.
Okay, so you're suggesting people go vote while I'm giving my proposal.
I think most people have voted, but there might be one or two.
All right. Well, yes. Okay, so my proposal, I'll pull it up here just so I can begin, are a couple things about the roles process. I think in some ways it's a little stale and needs some life breathed into it. So that's attention. And one of the ways to do that is building an interface for that process. But the tension that comes from that is like, that takes a lot of time for me to coordinate and find people that want to build this with me. Should be a simple project once I actually we start working on it. But I was proposing that we choose a way to redirect the roles process for this month. So only for this month's cycle. This proposal is only for this month, aka what's happening next week. And the options for ways to redirect that, there was okay, just not having a roles process really at all, no updates in the sheet, no feedback in the sheet, and no roles meeting. There was the option of just doing those casual roles hangouts. There was the option of let's see. Oh, we have a roles meeting, but just none of that like pre-work stuff in the sheet, and just let tensions come up as the meeting goes along. There was the option of splitting off into one-on-one check-in groups. And then there was the option of bringing, just keeping it the same as it has been all the previous months. And the most popular option from the Lumio was that we do roles hangouts only. There's no Lowy reminding people to update or give feedback in the sheet. There's just a few scheduled and also spontaneous calls to chat about our roles, and no formal Thursday roles meeting. So my proposal right now is that from the signaling I got there. So I propose that option, and I am opening for any clarifying questions on that, and then you can react. Clarifying questions?
So the only clarifying question I might have is who's initiating roles hangout. So that's all completely open. Anybody who's ready to work on their roles can just initiate their own hangout and invite people.
Totally.
Correct?
I'll
Okay.
initiate at least one, but I would very much welcome other people to initiate those hangouts.
All right.
Sorry, I missed that. Is it autonomous roles meetings, or is there a? I'm not sure. Sorry, could you repeat?
So I don't know if you've been to any of these like roles hangout casual work sessions that I've hosted, but it's usually something in the week leading up to the roles meeting. I'll be like, hey guys, I'm online right now. Want to jump in this Jitsi room with me, and kind of we can vote together and update together and just chat about roles. So the proposal is to just have those type of hangouts rather than having the whole formal roles process.
Okay, I understand it.
Any other clarifying questions? And a reaction round.
One quick clarifying question. Can you just really succinctly say the proposal?
Okay, proposal is to have no Thursday roles meeting, no updates or feedback in the roles sheet that is required. Instead of that, having 2 or 3 casual roles hangout work sessions during next week, initiated by me or anyone else.
Reaction round. Who would like to start?
I can start. So it's really cool. I think this might have come out of our little hangout at the Unicorns meeting, where we said it would be awesome to have less meetings because of Odyssey and whatnot. So thanks for doing this, Lumio. It famously reminds me of this thing, I don't know where I read it recently, where if you give people 2 options, they will be easy for them to decide which one. But if you give them 4 options, like, especially because those were like I might agree with one part of a proposal, but there's like 3 parts to one thing here. I think you know what I mean. It gets complicated. So I think you actually did well, but as far as harvest sentiment, like if you should do this interface at all, or I mean, you can still do it out of your own thing, but I think stuff like that is not decided here. So I thought it was a little bit disappointing that the only outcome is that we have no roles meeting. I would have liked a better. I hope we can turn this into a. So what do we like about roles and what not, and what should be in the interface, whatever. Like maybe can try can take the time we have reserved for roles meeting to actually in those hangouts also talk about that. And I'm very fine with the outcome. I think it's what I voted for. Yeah. And one thing, Debline built a form submitter. It's called the form at ETH Paris. So he's your man.
Cool.
Pass it.
And I give it to Griff.
Yeah. So actually, I'm kind of confused on this. Hey, Toby. See ya, man. Just on the point of like, why do we build a whole website for the rules meeting? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm like into, I like the outcome, but I'm also questioning like the execution, or hopefully, I hope that we can at least look at other options for using other software and not building our own for everything all the time. Like, we probably could conform our process to someone else's tool a little bit to avoid having to take dev resources out of our economy for the roles. That being said, I'm supportive of this option, and I'm happy to see some kind of meeting happen if the roles meeting doesn't happen. At least we have some kind of hangout sesh with the intention in mind. I'll pass it to Bowen.
So I'm always in favor of spending or having less meetings. However, I do think that the rules process is an important part of like making sure that we're all doing what we need to do and whatnot. And I'm in favor of this new plan as long as we are able to still effectively communicate and make sure that everybody's ideas are shared around. Let me see. I guess I'll pass it to Danny.
Thank you. Yeah, so I voted that we still have the hangout. I will definitely initiate a hangout. Hearing what Kai was saying about how each of these options had a lot of other information in there, like I think this was proposed because Lorelei needs more time to focus on how to make the rules process better and automate some aspects of it, so we're not going through that whole spreadsheet, which I am in favor of, and also offer my support there. So maybe we can be on the same hangout, and how we're going to improve that. I'd love to be able to collaborate on that a little bit. I definitely hear what Griff is saying. Developing a new solution when there's so many solutions that already exist, but also finding them and figuring out which one matches is quite a process in itself, as I learned with CRM. So all of that said, I am in favor of our vote. I would love to collaborate more on both the rules hangout to help people fill out what they need to and spend that time together. I know everybody says they don't like meetings, but when you're all working remote, this is really good for us to get to spend that time together. So I'm in favor of the time just being used differently, still together. And that said, I will scroll and find somebody. Okay, how about George?
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. So yeah, I haven't been to any roles meeting yet, so I don't know the process for it. But it seems like an exciting idea, just having meetings as they are needed instead of formally scheduling them. And I guess we'll see how it goes. It was also the option I voted for.
And then you pass it to someone. But I realized we forgot to ask you what you did this week.
Forgot to ask what?
At the beginning, we didn't get you in the first round.
Oh yeah, true.
That's okay.
What was that? Motivate, intentions and distractions, right?
Yeah, but it's okay. We'll do it some other time. We'll do it next round or after.
Okay.
We gotta keep the flow. So this is where you get to pick someone to pass it to.
So I'll pass it on to Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of with Danny. I like the idea of the time together. and using it differently. I think that we should try to make it as patterns oriented as possible, because processes tend to break when we do agile movements, which won't suit us as a non-org, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm generally not in favor of having a big process. I like the idea of roles because it generates some kind of security and knowledge of what you're doing, but at the same time, I don't like it as a process to go through. So I would be in favor of adapting what we have into something that is more likely work jams as suggested, or reusing the time that we all work together, or just making sure that we do continue to work together in that time while adapting the process or pattern. And I can pass it over to Don, perhaps.
Hey everybody, let me just unmute myself here. Yes, I think I'm pretty aligned with what the comments Josh and Danny made. I definitely think that having more flexibility around the process of defining and updating and iterating roles could be useful to us as an organization. I also, that was actually the option I voted on. I do hear Kai's concern about maybe some benefits of the existing process being lost. So hopefully we can be, vigilant about trying to identify and salvage any good aspects of the process that we're sort of stepping away from. But yeah, I see it as potentially a step towards flexibility, and in that way is a very good thing. I know there are a couple of fellow Jitsters here. I think everyone who actually has a name attached to them has spoken by now.
Anybody else?
I know one of them. Actually, I know the only fellow Jitster is Michael.
I think, did Bowen go?
Yeah, I went.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Chris in?
Did Kai go?
Yeah, Kai started. I don't see Chris at all. Okay, well, I think you just power through.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, not too much of an amendment here. Besides, I would like to say that actually my favorite option on this was breaking out into individual, like one-on-one teams, where I would help people like partner up and give them an assignment, like, ask, talk about these questions with each other, and then come back to the big group on Thursday with your learnings. A totally different type of roles process that was still more process than anything else. But I just wanted to say, like, there are other options that I would be excited to lead if we ever want to diverge in the future from our roles process again. But yeah, okay. I'm going to clarify. This proposal is just to have these hangouts next week instead of our traditional worky roles process. And I will initiate some of them. It sounds like Danny's going to initiate one, and anyone else is welcome to initiate a roles hangout. And we will resume normal roles action next month, unless some decision precludes that. That's it. Any objections? Okay, proposal passed.
Proposal passed. Oh, you say it so nice. Okay, so next we have a lot of these multi-sig proposals. So I'm actually going to break it up into, the main multi-sig for sure, its own proposal, and we'll try to push through that. And it's different than what the multi-sig. So there's 3 Lumios on here. The first one is, sorry, I didn't get it up. The first one is hey, we should actually remove 5 people and add 4 or 5 people. And that was 100% pass. So everyone's good, like, good, we should remove these 5 people. Those 5 people are, where are they? They are Yaler, Quasia, Oz, Alex, and Wojtek. I don't need to go into it. It's in the Lumio why we're removing them. So let's move on. The next is, how many people should we have on the multi-sig? It was a really close race between 12, 11, and 13. 12 ended up winning, and it is in the middle of the top 3 options. So I'm going to propose that we keep 12 people on the multi-sig, which means we need to add 5 people to it. And there were, in the next proposal, there were 3 clear winners that get added to the multi-sig. This is Lorelei, Danny, and Michael. But then we were really close for the next, like, 4 people. So what I propose is that we remove the people who we consider not available, Wojtek, Yaler, and Quasia, and replace them with Lorelei, Danny, and Michael. And then we do one more round to vote on the next 2 people that we add to replace Oz and Alex. So in the end, my proposal is that we, on the main multi-sig, the multi-sig that owns the bridge basically controls all the funds in the DApp, right? And is oversight of Bowen, who is the security guard, right? This and also this multi-sig, which receives all of our donations, very important multi-sig, the face of the organization, right? That we replace the people, that we replace Yaler, Quasia, and Wojtek with Lorelei, Danny, and Michael, with an intention to replace Oz and Alex with 2 more people to be decided next week. I think that's it. So yeah, clarifying questions.
So you would make another Lumio for next week's round of, like, the 2 other people to do.
Yep. So it'll just be the same Lumio that was made for replacing 5 people, but since it was such a close race for the bottom 2, we'll just do it again. Nice. No other clarifying questions. So who wants to start?
Me.
Okay.
I support this. Well, that's all. Bowen, what do you think?
I am in complete agreement. I support this. Danny.
Yeah, I am in support of this motion and pass it to Josh.
I would interject. I'm sorry, but nobody's saying anything of value. It's nice that you all agree, but we only do some important thing here, which is, sorry, is that okay?
Well, yeah, I think you're taking Josh's spot for reaction.
No, I will pass it to Josh afterwards. I just didn't want another agree, because I would actually like to people react on something of substance, which is, we should really think of, like, why did we vote to have so many people still on the multi-sig? It seems to me that people don't understand the reason why we wanted to reduce people on the multi-sig, which is a attack vector of whatever. You need to have a substantial amount of the members of the multi-sig having sign to have quorum. What it means is, like, you want to have many of your total members being needed to sign off. So there cannot be a minority signing off on stuff or, like, taking over. And it's not so bad. It's just with 12 people and 6 votes, we would have 50%, which is usually not ideal. We had this discussion the first time and we said, okay, let's go with 50%. Not many people were satisfied. I'm just saying that usually you don't do it like this. You really have not as many and you require less confirmations. So I'm really sorry, Josh, for stealing your thing. And I will give it to you next. I just wanted to interject. I'm not much in favor of having it stay the same amount, because we're even saying now we will vote for 2 new people on the multi-sig. And I would really like to re-evaluate from everybody this: do we really need 12 people on the multi-sig, or can it be 10? And we just, the last 2, we don't put them on, and we could still stay at 6 signatures, and then we would have more than 50% quorum needed to initiate transactions. Okay. And all the other proposals are fine and awesome for me.
I think this is actually a valuable process note, that maybe that should be the proposal that goes first, is the how many people do we keep on multi-sig, because all of these are conditional. Well, this one is conditional to that one.
Yeah, you're speaking out of turn, so we gotta pass it. I'm sorry, we gotta pass it.
Yeah, but you're making your proposals in bad order, because this proposal is dependent upon another proposal's outcome that Kai would object to.
So I added all 3 proposals into one, and so it is one proposal on the multi-sig. So he's objecting to it, and thank you. So we're moving on to keep the process going. Josh.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of reducing the amount of people on a multi-sig to the bare minimum. Personally, I would literally bring it down to like Griff, Michael, and to do someone over the Atlantic, because something that makes it hard to collude, but at the same time is barely minimal. Because I see the potential. Herding up 6 people to sign a multi-sig is not an easy task, and if there is something time critical, I would consider that way over necessary. Like we don't need 10 people on a multi-sig if we trust each other, is my opinion. So that I would like to trust people. I have no amending questions. I think I'm kind of just generally for the reduction of signatures required to allow the process to happen in maximum speed without security risk. And I will pass it somewhere else. Let's go to Danny. Has Danny gone?
Yeah, I passed it to you.
Damn it. I'm going to pass it over to, it's probably not good for Michael Shea to chime in on this one. Kai's gone. Has Don gone? George? No, he's new. Bowen has gone? Who's
correct. I think it's just Lorelei, right?
I haven't gone.
Oh.
And that is Don. Okay, cool. Brilliant. Don, could you go, please?
Yeah, I agree with you, and yeah, with what Kai was saying. I actually did vote to, I was just trying to quickly get my vote in as the meeting was going on, so I did vote for a few people. But the logic of having a smaller pool of signatories definitely makes sense to me. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I kind of maybe was a little premature in voting, but at least that's my sentiment. I agree that it, in the event of, I mean, at least we do have the 72-hour thing with the bridge, where hopefully we wouldn't need to be, herding up all these signatures within a 5-minute window. But, maybe, I don't know about going all the way down to 3 signatories, but definitely something under 12. I could see the merits in that. I saw Bowen just raised his hand.
I just wanted to clarify something, that we're not talking about like signatures for the bridge contract, which is what the DAP pays people out of. This is simply the multi-sigs that either receive funding from it or donate funding to it.
Gotcha.
So what is critical around them? I should probably maybe get the Lumio out.
Yeah, wait, does anyone else need to react to this? Let's try to keep the process. No one else needs to react? Okay, I will amend and clarify. So the main Giveth multi-sig actually doesn't have any time-dependent requirements. The only thing that it needs to do, and it has also signed 53 transactions. Most of them, almost all of them, were at least 6 signatures. So I would say that the worries about having too many signatures are moot as long as we have active participants, because there's no time-dependent things. Everything that's time-dependent with the bridge is like the security guard can extend. So like Bowen can extend to a month. If the multi-sig needs to cancel an order, this is like, oh my God, someone's attacking the bridge, Bowen can extend it for a month, and then we have a month to get 6 signatures. Actually, honestly, the worry I have is that what slows down getting 6 signatures is having not enough people on it, right? If there's not very many people on it, then it's harder to get 6 out of 9 than it is 6 out of 12. So we do have this. What I would say is my new proposal is that we will again address whether or not there should only be 1 person added, 0, like in the Lumio, we can have the options for add 0 other people, add 1 other person, or, you know, who do you want of the 2, right? So that we'll have max of 12, because I'm the only person that thinks it would be cool to have more people on the multi-sig. Well, that's not true, actually. I'm not the only person. Lots of people actually said 13 was fine. But I do think having more people in the multi-sig also gets more people to feel like they have ownership and Giveth, you know? Like, yeah, I'm on the Giveth multi-sig. You know, and that is a powerful thing for our team, you know? So what I would say is we're going to keep the proposal as stands. We're going to remove Wojtek, which is the most important thing. Nothing can. I really hope that we keep that going forward. Remove Wojtek, Quasia, and Yaler, and we add Lorelei, Michael, and Danny. And then I'll make a Lumio, and we will decide. There'll be an option for adding no people, adding 1 person, and then adding 2 people, right? And we'll vote on those things to get an understanding. Any objections? Okay, proposal passed. Next proposal, we have 10 minutes, so I'm going to try to do these all in one proposal, okay? Replacing Wojtek on the escape hatch multi-sig. So there, let me make sure, refresh, make sure I have the most up to date. So there's 3 more Lumios. One is replacing Wojtek on the escape hatch multi-sig for mainnet. This is, we are going to add 2 people, Lorelei and Michael, to that. Basically what this does is any one of the 6 people that would be on this multi-sig can push a button and move money out of the bridge to the overflow multi-sig. And then the overflow multi-sig can move it back to the bridge. Well, the overflow multi-sig technically can move it anywhere. But this multi-sig is a one of however many, we're going to say 6 now, multi-sig, of people who have the power to take money out of the bridge in either an emergency or just if there's just too much money in the bridge and it's not going to be used. And then, but they can't take the money out and decide where to put it. They can only send it to this overflow multi-sig. So the people that I want to add to that, or that I propose to add to that, according to the Lumio poll, are Lorelei and Michael. Danny missed it by 1 vote. Sorry, Danny.
I should have voted for myself. Good.
In the overflow multi-sig, let's see. We are going to add Lorelei, who is a clear winner to the overflow multi-sig to replace Wojtek. So we'll remove Wojtek and add Lorelei. And then the other multi-sig, I'm sorry to do this all in one. I was hoping to split it, but we only have 9 minutes left, is the DAP God multi-sig. And Michael is going to be added to that multi-sig to replace Wojtek. Yeah. So, and this multi-sig has the ability to upgrade the entire bridge contract. Everything that we have on our bridge chain. So the DAP and the bridge on this side of the chain, on the Rinkeby side, they can basically change the entire network. So it's a very important multi-sig, very technical multi-sig that never gets used, only for updates. Okay, so the Rinkeby multi-sig, I call it liquid pledging God, the DAP God multi-sig. We're adding Michael to it. The overflow multi-sig, we're adding Lorelei to it. And the, what's this? Oh no. And the escape hatch multi-sig, we're adding Lorelei and Michael. So it's Lorelei and Michael for the win across the board. Any clarifying questions?
Yes, I have one. Just because if we have the option to add more than one person, because essentially only Wojtek is being replaced, did you ever ask RJ if he wants to keep his duties on those multi-sigs, or do you think, or what's your opinion on that? We could ask him if he wants to be relieved because we have more people.
No, I asked him several times and he never responded. So I think that he had mentioned that he was cool staying on the multi-sig most recently, but he had also mentioned like many months ago that he would eventually want to be taken off the multi-sig. I think it's one of those things where he's cool doing it and he probably feels somewhat like responsible for staying on, and we could push him off if we wanted. But I think we would all be better off if we left him on. But I did ask him. I asked him last week. I asked him yesterday, and he just hasn't responded. So.
All right. Thanks.
Any other clarifying questions? Okay. So next move is reaction round. Who wants to start?
I'll go. I'm happy. And I'll pass it over to Bowen.
I have no objections to this either. I will pass it to Kai.
I also have no objections on that round, so I give it to Danny.
Danny's joking. Yeah, all of that sounds really good. I'm fine with it. I don't really have any particular reaction, I guess, other than I don't really need the additional responsibilities, and Michael is definitely a good person for that, as is Lorelei. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I'll pass it to George.
I also approve of it. I have no objections, and I'll pass it on to Bowen.
I already went.
Sorry. Josh, did you ever go?
Josh?
I've been, that has Kai, Danny, and George.
George.
So who's left?
Don, Michael, potentially Louis. Yeah.
I'll pass it on to Michael then.
Michael, you there?
Sounds like his mic is broken.
There is that working now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm listening really this week because it's I don't know enough to really give an opinion one way or another, so I'd rather abstain since it's otherwise just a arbitrary yes or no, right?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else to pass it to?
Griffin Lowy.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. If that's all.
Okay.
Amend and clarify.
Oh,
I don't know.
Adam, did you go?
No, I'm good with it. I think spring cleaning is always a good thing, always in order, especially around this time of year.
Yeah. Okay. So the amend and clarify. I forgot that I haven't heard from Michael that he didn't even vote on these proposals. I think he's getting ready for the conference thing. So, assuming that Michael confirms that he wants to be on these multi-sigs, then then Michael and Lowy will be scattered across the multi-sigs as the poll suggests. Okay, well that was easy. Proposal passed. So I want to go back to what Kai was saying a little bit about this multi-sig and just Kai, do you want to take the floor again and just make sure that you feel cool with what happened with this?
Why? Yes, yeah. I was just a question about RJ. Those multi-sigs are really about only replacing somebody, so it's
No, I mean the main multi-sig. The main multi-sig, like
the 12 people thing.
all right. So I didn't want to add anything. Just like my recommendation was to maybe drop it to 11 if we can, and or 10 and keep 6 signatures. But yeah, you said it will be. You actually said that it will be part of the new proposal, I think, right?
yeah, I'll just add it like the last one. Add. It'll be an option like add nobody. And we'll just have 3 options, so it'll be a little bit easier. It won't be such a big spread.
Yeah. Thanks for amending the proposal. Great.
Okay, cool. Well, amazing. I can't believe we were able to pull this. I don't know how we always just find a way to squeeze in that time, like within the time frame that we have. It's like everyone's kind of keeping track and it just works out. But let's close it out. So I'll start. Thank you guys for coming. It was a big meeting this week. Lots of people, lots of tough decisions that got made. And I'm sure Wojtek will be really happy to have this finally closed. So thank you guys all for jumping in and spending the time with us this week. I'll pass it to Lorelai.
Yeah, it's so awesome to see so many people at the meeting. And yeah, I feel really good that we set out this goal and told Wojtek, hey, we'll have an answer for you by next Thursday. And we do! Yay, that's really good. So thank you to Griff, who put so much work into making that happen. I felt like there was some little bit unnecessarily heavy-handed facilitation going on, especially when people were asking for clarification. But yeah, other than that, great meeting. And I'll pass it to Don.
Hey guys, great to hear everybody, see a lot of friendly faces that I like a lot. And yeah, this seemed like a productive meeting. So always awesome and fun to be involved with you guys. I will pass it to Bowen.
Thank you there. Yeah, I'm surprised that we got through that many so quickly as well and managed to almost make it under the hour mark. So thanks everybody, and I'll pass it to Danny.
Yeah, let's get wrapped up. I'm happy with how we got through everything, and the only thing I'm sad about is we didn't get to have any fireside chat, but we do have some roles hangouts coming up. So thanks everyone, and I'll pass it to George again.
Yeah, so I didn't really have much to say. I was more in a listening role since these processes are ones I'm not familiar with, but it is interesting seeing how all these decisions get made. Yeah, I'll pass it on to Kai. Did you already go?
Yeah, thank you guys for the meeting, especially thanks to Griff for this mammoth multisig untangling and being fluid enough to incorporate whatever criticisms we had here. Very nice. We actually, to George and Michael, we forgot to toggle you guys off. It's one of the mechanics for your first meeting. You don't get to be asked the reaction, you just basically observe. And I just realized with what you said, George, that it's a mechanic for both ways. Like you don't have to react, so you don't get to put into the position of like having an opinion on something you're really getting into. But you will be toggled on, Michael and George, for the next one for sure. Now that you are, and yeah, thanks. I give it to Josh.
Yeah, cool. Good to blast through stuff. Thanks for getting out the very, very clear Lumio Griff. I appreciated them when I voted. I understood what I was voting for. Took rather a long time, and then I forgot all about it in this meeting, so sorry about that. Otherwise, great meeting. Yeah, it's cool to blast through some stuff. I will pass it over to who's left? Michael? Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm last one, and thanks very much. It's been very interesting to listen to the process that you go through and how it keeps the conversation moving, and it's been instructive. And hopefully, we'll be joining, or hope to join the next one too.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Hey, thank you guys. Great meeting. And by the way, don't forget Pi Day. Get on crypto Twitter, and we have like a fundraiser for half of Pi Day is just for Giveth crew. So like, make sure Grace, Castro Limon, and Giveth ourselves are trying to raise money. So get out there and tweet and spam everybody about how great Pi Day is. Bowen, do you want to say something?
I just had a quick question about that because how long does it take for the bot to respond?
You might have to follow the bot.
Oh my God. Okay.
Send crypto bot. You are looking for a send crypto bot.
Yeah, I know that part. It's just a question of it. They didn't say that before, and I've tried doing this like 4 times now, and it never responded.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll fix it.
Yeah, you have to follow the bot. It's a huge fail, I would say. It's just like Twitter. They're trying to use Twitter DMs. They should have just tweeted to you the
like
pay
comments or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But oh well.
All right. So I'll try that again. Thanks for explaining.
For sure. Good luck, man. And thank you guys. Let's spam Twitter. Okay.
Sounds good. You signing off? Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming, George. Oh, he's gone.
Is the stream turned off? I got a question for you.
It's not turned off. But you can turn it off.
I can?
Yeah. Stop live stream.